Hey, everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today we're bringing back the old intro because we're doing something different. This is going to be a video that's not like what I've been releasing recently on my channel. I'm going to be throwing it back to the old school Serial Overdrive. We've got a more just talking format video. So first off, let's just get this out of the way and say fuck it. The reason I wanted to say fuck a few times in this introduction is because that actually lowers the amount of money that this video is going to make me. I'm doing that on purpose to make a point that this isn't about the money. I'm not just trying to make a long video that's going to make me more money so I can put more ads in it. I want to try a whole new format. I want to do something that we're going to be doing hopefully weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whenever the urge really strikes me, where I sit down, open up a nice drink, a nice strong drink usually, and talk. It's probably more of a weekend thing, so I'm doing this on a Friday night. Going to release this on Saturday night, so let's just make this like a Saturday night thing, if you will. Might not drop every Saturday night, but it's going to come here and there, and I'll be answering questions, talking to you guys, and just sort of hanging out. Right now, we're going to be just playing the video game that's most popular on my channel, that my channel is currently most known for. That would be Rust, but you're going to see a bunch of different video games here. Like, don't let that affect you. This isn't something that you really should be watching anyways. The main goal here is just listen, talk, have a nice conversation. It's a way for me to sort of conversate, if you will, with all of you. So yeah, if you're wondering why I've been doing Elden Rings and all of that, I'm going to answer some of that in this video and just sort of chill out, have a drink. It's going to be a little bit more low-key, if you will. That's me having a drink. I invite you to do the same. So yeah, just to get things off to roll, if you know my channel, you know I've done a lot of video games, how-tos, stuff like that. The reason I've been doing how-tos is that's what my channel started with back in the day. So the reason Serial Overdrive as a channel started was because way back in the day, like a decade ago, I've been doing this for a decade, and I haven't made as much money as some of you think. I've made a lot more than others of you think. But I've been doing this a whole decade. Back when I started, I originally just got fed up with the guides that were on YouTube. I couldn't figure out how to do certain things in Skyrim. I was a little bit upset with it. I saw like some YouTubers that I was watching, listening to. They all had these crazy good mics that could actually pick up their voice without making it sound like it was coming out of a tin speaker that was made in the 1920s. And I thought, hey, that sounds cool. So what did I do? I went out and bought the most no, I didn't actually. I just used my laptop speaker, and it sounded like I was speaking out of a submarine. It was ridiculous. Like it probably would have sounded better if I took my laptop underwater and tried to speak into it. But audio was horrible. It was horrible. But people liked the videos. People were looking at the videos. It was helping them. They were saying thanks. So I just sort of kept going with that. I was monetized the whole way through, and I was making a full like 2 cents a day or something ridiculous like that. Like videos would get 10,000 views and they'd make me $1. So it was never about the money. I just loved helping people. I thought it was like a really cool thing to do. I just said it was never about the money. Sometimes it is about the money. Let's not lie. Right now, my channel does pretty good. Like, yeah, like this is, I don't know, we're going to call this Shit Talk Saturdays or whatever we're going to call it, but we'll be real here. Like I'm making, I don't know, like $1,000, maybe $2,000 a month on this channel if I'm lucky. Okay. Like when Rust really popped off, I was making more. But when I do these how-to guides, especially when you see stuff under 30 seconds, those videos aren't making any money. Like that, those short videos, they're not making that much. And I make a good bit in my day job. So like $1,000 extra dollars a month is great. Like when I started YouTube, it was like, oh, it'd be awesome if this could just be beer money. I've cut back my drinking a bit, and well, beer's gotten more expensive. It's not that expensive. I'd be quite the alcoholic, I think, if I was blowing through $1,000 a month on alcohol alone. Unless I'm going out and like partying. I don't know. Maybe I'm buying a bottle of Dom a month. I don't know. But like, yeah, if I was buying $1,000 worth of Bud Light or whatever I'm drinking, like right now, not sure if I said this. Right now, I'm just having a gin and tonic, and $1,000 gets you quite a few of those if you're just sitting at home playing some video games. Have another drink, by the way. But yeah, basically, I just like helping people. I thought it was cool. Got into Tropia Universe, got into some of the games, and really just started just loving the fact that I had a community I could interact with. And that's one of the things I've been missing. Like, we've been doing these Rust videos, these news. I've been making jokes every now and then, and that's a ton of fun, but I miss sort of this more sit-down format where the video is going to go on a bit longer. People are listening in the background. I get a little bit more of that intimate interaction. I'm not telling you guys to take off your pants, but I didn't start this with any pants on. No. Well, no. Anyways, but yeah, like I like making the jokes. I like all that, but this is a little bit more real, more of like a talk, I guess. And I don't know what I'm trying to get with this. We're gonna see where this goes. But yeah, I guess let's talk about Rust too, because I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are into Rust because that's been sort of the latest push that I'm doing. What's going on with the channel and Elden Rings, how that fits in and everything like that. So the long way of saying this is the reason Elden Ring fits in is because I can make how-to guides on that. I can help people out with that. The reason I'm doing updates in Rust, the reason I do updates in so many of these games and stuff is because a lot of the YouTubers who do updates, they're just looking to hit a certain mark. They're looking to hit 8 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, it'll get them the most money. They're not looking to give you the best product. And in my opinion, that just sucks. The original reason I got into YouTube was because I didn't like the fact that there were no guides out there. The guides were all by these like companies that would make you pay for them, or just like it was just so much bullshit surrounding it. And a lot of that's coming back just in new ways. And I want to try to keep fighting that. You know, every now and then a video is going to run over 8 minutes, and maybe I'll put an ad in, maybe I won't. But I don't want it to run over 8 minutes because I want to put an ad in. And I see a lot of people making videos that way. So that was what I'm trying to do with the guides and everything like that. And I just like helping people. For those of you wondering, like I have a video, recently put it out. It got, 30,000 views? That video was under 30 seconds long. And for those of you who don't know, under 30 seconds, like that's a freebie. You're not making any, you're pretty much not making any advertisement money on that whatsoever. Under a couple minutes, you're still not making that much on it. My long videos, like those guides that I make, like the Rust beginners guides, that go, I don't know what it would be, like 15 minutes or something like that. Those make a good bit of cash. I'm not gonna lie. Those are like, when I say I'm making a good bit on YouTube, when I tell you the figures, like it's really being pumped up by some of those bigger guides that got popular, right? Those guides that are 10 plus minutes long and they've got, 50, 100,000 views. Those are really, really pulling their weight. And when you see these short videos that help, like this recent Elden Rings video, Elden Rings How to Parry. A lot of people didn't like it because I didn't get into the nitty gritty of parrying, but a lot of people really did like it because it was just like this basic guide that tells them something that they were looking for, and it didn't take 5 minutes to do it. It's just, hey, you hit this button, you parry an attack. That's how it works in Elden Rings. So that got 180,000 views, which is just mind-blowing to me. Like, for 8 years, my highest viewed video had 80,000 views, and that was a Skyrim guide that had been out since literally the start of my channel. And then to have a video make 180,000 views in under 2 weeks is just mind-blowing to me. That's like an insane thing to see. It doesn't make any money. It makes a little bit, but not much. Like, not what people think. But I just love the fact that it's there. I love the fact that it's helping people, and that's why I make stuff like that. That's why I do Elden Rings. That's why I do these random games. And sometimes I'm just doing a game I like. Like Deus Ex, I made a ton of guides for that. It wasn't a popular game. It wasn't going to make me money, but I did it because I love the game, and every now and then there's someone that gets stuck. It helps them through that part, and I hope that what I'm doing is helping people play games that I love and not give them up, because there's so many times I've been playing a game and I've just given up on it. A lot of times a simple guide would be all it would take for me to just keep sort of going with that game, right? Like it's Elden Rings, like how to do this in Elden Rings. I forget. There was something I looked up and it was just like, what am I doing wrong in Elden Rings? I can't beat the first boss. And the video just went over in all these details, and finally at the end, after watching it for like 13 minutes, the guy's like, hey, and if you still can't do it, your character might not be powerful enough. You should go explore, level up. And it's like, well, you could have told me that in the beginning. So then I made a video that did that. Some people like it, some people don't. But I don't know. I find that there's a lot of value there. And it might not be value monetarily, but it's value as far as time saved and I like that. I think that's something that like you can derive value from. Like I'm in real life, I'm making enough. Like I'd love to quit my job and do YouTube full time. Who am I kidding? But like, in real life, I'm perfectly fine, right? So one of the goals for this channel is just to like save people time and sort of help people out, right? And if I'm helping people, I'm trying to make as short a video as possible, except in this case where I'm just rambling on. And if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I like it, and that's why I do videos like that. A lot of people criticize me because they say I should just stick to one game. I'd do better. I should be focused on this. Like I've had people message me and be like, Serial, bro, like you made a 7-minute video. What is that? Like we can all just go for 8 minutes and then we'll all have more money to split. And it's like, it's not And when I say people, I mean other YouTubers in that case. But it's just like, that's not the point. Like, I'm not trying to make an 8-minute video so we can all make more money. Like, I appreciate that you've got to make money. I appreciate that you're trying to make the best video possible. But my goal is to make a good video, to make a video that gets people the information they need as fast as possible. And if I can do that in 7 minutes and 59 seconds, I'm going to do it in fucking 7 minutes and 59 seconds. And you can go to my channel and see that sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll have a video that gets 30, 40,000 views in 7 minutes, 59 seconds. I don't regret it because I'm glad I could save people at least 1 second, right? Even if it's just, I don't know, like in that case, maybe it is being ridiculous. But you see what I'm saying? I feel like I don't want to give any ground there because if I do, then I start to slip more and more. And at some point, it's going to be like, well, I've got a 5-minute video. I might as well add a 3-minute outro into it. And that's just bullshit, in my opinion. And I say that with full acknowledgement of the hypocrisy there. The fact that I'm making, I don't know how long this video is going to go, but we're at 11 minutes. I'm not going to edit it. This is just going to be some like video playing in the background. I don't know if people are going to like this, but like, I feel like this is something I feel like that's missing, right? Like YouTube right now, it's overproduced. There's a lot of people doing all this cool stuff, and there's not as many conversations going on. One of the things I love to do with YouTube is like I have it on in the background when I'm working, or I'll have it on in the background when I'm like doing the dishes or cleaning up downstairs. You guys don't know what the fuck that means. When I'm cleaning up down, like in the kitchen, just stuff like that, right? Like in my house, I'm doing the cleaning and I just have YouTube on. I'm just chilling, listening to some people talk, and I find that there's like less of that content out there that I'd like. So maybe this can fill that void for some of you. And maybe it'll give you like more of an insight into me. And it's a way that you can ask me questions, bring up topics. I could do this via a live stream or something like that, but I feel like then there's a little bit lost to it. When I'm just talking to the microphone instead of individual people, it's a little bit easier for you to follow if you're listening in the background. You're not like feeling like you're missing out on chat or anything like that. All the chat's going on in the comments. It's going to go on in the next video, and we can just keep going like that. Time for another drink, by the way. I say time for another drink because if I just like chill out for 2 seconds, people like, that's about the time when you pull out your phone and you're like, did my phone die? Did I lose internet? Like, what's going on here? I don't want to do that to you. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what everybody thinks of this format. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. But this is what I used to do. Like when I used to play Entropia Universe, this is sort of how it would go. I'd start with the topic, go into that topic a little bit. This video, I didn't really start with the topic at all, so maybe I did that wrong, and I'll come back to it and change that up. But I'd start with the topic, go into that, and then just see where we go, ramble a bit. And, after 20, 30 minutes, I'd call it a day. A lot of people like that. It's cool to listen to when you're playing a game or something like that. Just listen to the guy that's helped you out with like guides and stuff like that. Listen to them go back and forth about why they like this change or that change or anything like that. So let's jump into Rust. There's some changes recently that people have asked about, specifically the recoil. And this, I might make a separate video on this at some point just because I think this is an important topic. But the main version of Rust, the PC version of Rust, let's face it, that's the main version of Rust. The main version of Rust, they're going to be changing the PvP aspect of the game. And one of the things that some people are worried or excited about the change is they're thinking that there's going to be a change to the recoil. And I think that's a good thing. Honestly, I think the recoil in Rust is one of the most abusive recoil systems in any game. There are a lot of other games. There are other games like it, but I think that's the style of recoil that makes you get muscle memory to learn the recoil for each and every gun is extremely abusive. And the reason I think that is because what it does is it takes a player and it gives them a skill that is only applicable in one game and one game only. That recoil pattern is never going to be in any other game. You are extremely unlikely to see the Rust recoil pattern for any gun in any other game. And the reason that is so abusive is because it takes you tens or hundreds of hours to learn all those recoils. So you've dumped all this time into learning a skill that is only applicable for one game. And that is how that game keeps you, and that is how that game milks you. Because it's this sunk cost fallacy, right? It is like a classic example of that. And I'm not criticizing the devs. I get the devs do that. I get that that is how some games are designed. And I get that that's a somewhat legitimate design. But the quality of the way it takes advantage of just people, the sunk time fallacy and people putting time into this game and like to learn the recoil. And It's crazy to me that it's 2022. You've got paying for everything. People are paying pay to win games. They're buying skins, pay to win skins, all this sort of bullshit. And then you've got recoil systems that require hundreds of hours to put into it. And they say it's to prevent cheating or something like that. And there's no real skill in it, right? Like in Rust, if you don't have the recoil system, the people that are going to get the advantage are either going to have more friends. And there's nothing you can do about that. But again, having a clan, managing a clan, well, a lot of people don't like that. It is a skill, right? Like person management, that's a skill. That's actually a skill that's very applicable. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that you manage the most racist clan in Rust on your job resume, but if you're talking in an interview and you say, oh yeah, I've worked on projects with up to like 30 people and I've been the one managing that and everything came off perfectly. It was a 1-month project. And what we did is we started that project with the goal of constructing something beautiful in an online game, like Minecraft, if you will. We wanted to replicate a city and make it as defensible as possible. I coordinated people. I got people that were going out to get resources, people that were defending the city, people that were building the city up, and other people who'd be going out and finding other cities to make deals with or attack or anything like that. And I realized that this experience is only an online experience, but you, the interviewer, I guess we're talking to an interviewer. You, the interviewer, should realize that this is still a feat, and the fact that it's 30 people who are unpaid, they have no responsibility to me whatsoever, and they still stuck around for that month and worked with me to create something awesome. That should show you that there should be even more motivation when this is someone's job and something that they are extremely passionate about and getting paid for. And I think that like you can turn those things into a positive, right? But like take a game where you're just playing positioning, right? You're trying to get the better position on someone. This isn't something that's really going to happen in real life. I mean, we say that, but then look at Ukraine. I mean, fuck Putin, but look at what's going on with Ukraine, all that shit. Like, that's ridiculous. But hopefully getting strategic positioning on someone so that you can shoot them in the back or whatever it is something that's never going to come up in real life for you unless you're playing a nice game of paintball or something like that, right? But it's something that is applicable to other games. Like, it's something that you do to relax. And like, hey, like, all right, I played this game. I played Rust. I know how to get strategic positioning by using the brush and using like mountains and height to my advantage and all that. Like, that's something, again, that can be applied to another game. You can say, well, I've got a sniper rifle, so I should hold back. I've got this gun, so I should rush. Like, that's all stuff that can be applicable to another game. And there are things that come with the game. There's little like bits of knowledge that you can pick up, but that's all knowledge that you can pick up pretty fast. You can learn easily how hills work, how terrain works, if you're going to run slower when you're going through this, if this bush is going to make noise, and you learn these things, right? The thing with a recoil pattern is that is something that's just muscle memory. You're just doing something until you've got it down. And if that's something that you find fun, that's a whole different conversation because now you're doing something for your entertainment. But what Rust forces a lot of people to do is learn this muscle memory pattern that they don't find fun. They're wasting. I really think that's what it is. They're spending tens or hundreds of hours just doing something that they don't enjoy. And at the end of the day, I don't think there's any sort of thing that comes out of it. So I'd really like to see the system changed. I understand it sucks if you put the time into it. Full disclosure, I haven't. So it's in my advantage for the system to change. But I just think it would be better overall for the player base long term for that system to disappear and for it to be more of a system that is useful in other games and other applications, if you will. Whether if it's more terrain-focused gameplay or strategic gameplay, maybe being able to place down different wood barriers faster, build something more like I don't want to say Fortnite, but a Fortnite-esque build system. And this is a horrible idea as I'm saying it. But I think you get what I'm saying. And I'd like to see there be a little bit more to combat than just learning a recoil pattern and being able to beam someone from 300 feet away. It's impressive. I mean, it is impressive that you've gotten that pattern down. You've got that sort of pinpoint precision when it comes to a mouse. But, you know, like when I play instruments, there's a lot of songs and stuff like that that are memory, like just sort of like muscle memory to me. Like, you give me an instrument, I'll play it for you. Fine. Boom. Like, you know, I've done it so many times, it just clicks. But I enjoy doing that. And how many people are enjoying learning recoil? I don't think there's that many. And the way a lot of people learn it is they'll just sit in a random UKN server just copying recoil patterns. And I don't think many people find that fun. So I do think that those PvP changes are needed, and personally, I'm welcoming them. Feel free to roast that down below. But I thought we'd get a little bit of Rust talk in there because some people are wondering about recoil, what I think about it. And again, my recoil, my aim, it's horrible. Like, I am probably one of the worst Rust YouTubers out there when it comes to knowing recoil patterns. And I say that realizing that there's some people that are hitting the unsubscribe button right now. But if you made it 20 minutes in, maybe you find me interesting enough that you won't hit unsubscribe. Sorry, I took a drink there and forgot to announce it. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's hard because I realize there's got to be something to replace the recoil system. If you just rely on the way Rust PvP works as it is, the problem is it's going to just come down to a numbers game, I think. With some of the really exceptional players getting some amazing plays based on positioning and everything like that. There are still a lot of opportunities for that. But a numbers game. There already is enough of that, in my opinion. I think the recoil is a differentiator there, but I think there's better ways to do it. I'm not sure if that's with build. I'm not sure if that's with nerfing. I'm not sure if that's making it harder to identify teammates. Because that's one option too, right? Like, if you don't allow teams, you don't mark out teammates, that introduces a whole nother thing into the game. Because now all of a sudden, and this was a system that used to be in Rust. Now all of a sudden what happens is it's all about callouts. It's all about knowing what skins your teammates have. And sure, you can all put on the same skin. But as an opposing player, maybe I kill one of you, I put on the same skin. And now I'm a solo. I can kill anybody. I don't care. You're all enemies to me. But to you, it's very hard to figure out, like, two people are shooting at each other. Which one's your friend? Which one isn't? I like that aspect of it where it's like, all right, now you've got to get good at callouts. You've got to be like, hey, I'm on the guy on the left. And no one knows left or right because that's all just, that's your own perspective. So then you just get lit up because you did a bad call out. So now you've got to get better at it. You've got to be like, hey, I'm the guy by this rock, blah, blah, blah. Shoot the guy that I'm shooting at. And then as a solo player, your goal now is to infiltrate the enemy team, right? Like, you take out the guy that's got the camo, the weak point, the guy that ran ahead too far, who's fallen behind. Take him out. Put on his stuff before he can get on Discord or whatever it is and tell everybody what's up. And then when they're looking for you, you infiltrate them, make them think you're sort of one of the crew, and you can light them up from the inside or, try and wreak some havoc, if you will. I don't know. I like that. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be introduced like that. And, I think changing the system in those ways could introduce some really cool stuff to Rust. But there are going to be growth pains because a lot of people, if you look online, there's a lot of people with PC Rust that have 10,000 hours. And a lot of those were spent learning recoil. And it's the same with console. There's a lot of people with 1,000, some with 2,000 hours. A lot of that, again, is learning recoil, figuring the game out. And a big part of figuring Rust out right now is recoil. So it's tough because you're alienating some of your biggest fans. So it's a very hard balancing act. I don't envy the fact that devs have to do it. But yeah, that's my stance on the recoil in a long-winded statement. So what else is there? I'm actually really enjoying this gin and tonic. I don't know. I used to never like gin and tonic. So my story with gin, this is, some of you might find this funny. So my story with gin is, I forget what it's called. It's like the one that starts with the T, gin, whatever it is, tangerine, tangerina, something like that, gin. Someone's going to laugh. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I don't even know what the word is right now. But it comes in a green bottle. And the first time I thought I tried gin, someone had brought that bottle, but they'd like pre-mixed a drink into it. So I was like, oh, gin is amazing. Like, I looked at this bottle. It's telling me it's like a 40% alcohol, right? And I'm drinking. It's like this sugary drink. I'm like, oh, there must be sugar in here. Like, no sugar, nothing like that. I'm like, oh, man, this is amazing. This stuff tastes beautiful. Like, it's just like, how could nobody like gin? Like, gin and tonic. I just want fucking gin in a cup. Give it to me. Anyways, I went out. I bought this bottle. At the time, it was like top-end gin. It was expensive. Got home, had poured myself a nice big glass because that's what you do with gin because it tastes so amazing. And then I had it and realized that it tasted like shit. I hated it. And then, of course, because I'm a complete idiot, I went to the store and bought another bottle because obviously the bottle I bought was bad. I don't know how I thought that had happened, but I'm like, bottle's green because the sunlight would get in and buck it up. And obviously this bottle had a bad tint or something to it. So I ended up with 2 bottles of gin that I hated, and it literally sat in my apartment for like 4 years. Literally all of university, I had these 2 bottles of gin that nobody wanted because it tasted like shit, like to all of us at least. Now I'm drinking it and I actually like it, but we just hated it, right? Turned out, the person who brought that bottle to the party obviously had mixed something in it, and I thought that was gin and it wasn't. I don't know. That story's not relevant whatsoever, but I thought that was it was just ridiculous. Nobody liked it. Eventually I found a friend, a friend that came by. He was actually from Ukraine, or he is from Ukraine. He loved it, and I'm like, dude, just take these bottles. And he was like, oh, really? Like, you're gonna it's like $50 worth of alcohol or whatever it is, because it's the U.S. Alcohol's cheap, right? But he was like, oh, thanks, and because it's college, so even though alcohol is cheap, none of us really have that much money. And he was really grateful for it. I'm like, you're more than welcome. Just give me a few beers or something like that. Like, not really. I just gave it to him because I don't know. I was like, whatever. But it's just one of those things. Like, I ended up hating it, and I found it funny that I was just tricked like that, because it's like, how dumb could you be? Looking back at myself, it's like you go to a party, you find a random bottle, and drink it. Like you're already playing like freaking Pac-Man there, hoping that nobody put pills in your drink. Or maybe Pac-Man hoping people put pills in your drink. Whatever, right? I'm out there just drinking random bottles, hoping that it's like good shit. And this is like a party, like 200 people at a house party. So like, it's not exactly clear where this bottle came from. Shady. But that's how Serial Override Drive rolled back in the day. So I'm just having this but yeah, it was just a mixed drink that was pretty good. But yeah, it was, not my brightest moment. Like, did I really think? I'm lucky they didn't do a bottle of Everclear, because I would have had that shit sitting there and just been, oof, pour yourself a bottle of Everclear, take a nice big sip, and you will hate life. Well, you'll hate life when you sip it, and you'll hate life as it gets digested. Because if you've ever had Everclear, that literally is like rocket fuel. Like, if you're making a Molotov cocktail, Everclear is a perfect way to do it, because it is actually, that is one of the only alcohol bottles that literally has a flammable warning on it because of how much alcohol there is, and it's just pure alcohol. And yeah, if they'd used a bottle like that, I probably would have thought like, oh, of course, Everclear, that's the magical drink that's all alcohol, and it's a creamy blue looking thing. Like, what was I thinking? But yeah, first experience with gin. I didn't like it, but now I'm actually liking it. Like, I went to London, picked up some gin, brought it back, and yeah, I can't say I complain. Also, we're gonna go into the London story now. For London, one of the things I learned, when I'm drunk, I'm a complete idiot. And like, granted, given the last story, you should probably have already learned that. But I went to London, got drunk, and for some reason, in my head, I decided that pounds to dollars should be an equal conversion because it's easier. $1 should equal 1 pound. If you know anything about the pound to dollar, that is not the case, and that is not even close to what the actual exchange rate is. $1 to 1 pound would be a beautiful thing if you're an American, and a horrible reality if you're from England. But I decided, because I was drunk, it was an easier thing to make the conversion. So I'm at the bar and I'm buying like $20, $30 cocktails, thinking they were $30 cocktails, but this is pounds. When you wake up in the morning after realize the conversion rate and what it really was, your brain starts to hurt, because it's like, I remember I just had all these cocktails because I'm like, well, they're a little expensive, $20, $30. That's pretty stiff, but whatever, I can handle it. We're on vacation. When you wake up and realize that conversion's more like $40 to $50 or something crazy like that, you're like, oh no. Then you look at the credit card bill and it's like, yep, I thought I spent $200. I spent $500. That was just one bar. I went bar hopping that night. It was rough. It was fun. It was fun. It is what it is. I'm talking about it here, so obviously it's a tax write-off. So I get 30% back at that point. Not really. IRS do not come after me. I'm not. Drinks in London are not going to be coming off my taxes because I know that's not legit. But yeah, that was a big mistake on my part. Fun story. It's funny. It's like the time I went to Seattle, got high, and spent way too much money on French fries. Story time, I guess. Let's just go over that one too. Should I blow them all in one talk? I've got a lot of stories, so we can do this. Last story here. So yeah, I was went down to Seattle for a job interview. Weed was legal at the time, had just been made legal, and I'm like, oh, I love this already. Like, weed's legal here. Should I get high before my job interview? No. Serial Overdrive is a professional. We get high after the job interview. So, do the job interview. Everything went good. I actually did end up getting an offer. And, first things first. Get done with the job interview. Good job interview. Usually, maybe I'd go to a bar. Maybe I'd go walk around town. I decided, like, hey, let's just go get some edibles and walk around town. So, go there. I get, like $20 worth of edibles, which to me, that seemed like a reasonable amount. Like, if I'm going to a bar and I'm spending $20, like, that's going to get me a little buzz. That sounds great. Turns out I'm a complete lightweight because I don't smoke weed that often. Like, I think at this point, it's probably been over a year since I've smoked weed. Like, I do it occasionally, but not often. And this was at Seattle. So this still, actually, it'd probably been like a year still at that time. So I have a few. I realize it's too strong, and like any smart person, I decided I'll hold off. So I didn't actually have too much. Walked around a bit buzzed, had a great time, enjoyed the birds, enjoyed the greenery, enjoyed just wandering around the city, exploring and finding out everything that was there, everything that changed since the last time I've been there. Seattle's a lovely city. I love it. At least when I went, this was probably 5 years ago now. I'm getting old. Actually, more than 5 years ago. Yeah, this was a while ago. But yeah, like, I had a really great time. So I get done and, went back to my hotel, went to bed, woke up in the morning, flight's coming. What do you do with the edibles? Do you toss them? You don't do that because that would be irresponsible. Some kid could be going through the garbage. They could get your edibles. And now you've given weed to someone else that you don't know. And that's obviously a felony. And I wouldn't do that. So I decided I'm going to do the adult thing and consume all of it at once, that I can guarantee that only responsible parties get that weed. So I had a shit ton of edibles, basically. Like, shit ton for me. Like, we're talking like 25, 50 milligrams, something like that. But it was enough to basically launch my own space program. And, again, not complete idiot. Did it right after I got out of my Uber, right at the airport, because the best time to do edibles is in front of federal agents or the TSA. TSA aren't federal agents, so fuck it. But best time to do it is when they're inside the building, right? Because nothing bad's going to happen. But nothing bad did happen because I didn't get high until I went through security and everything was great. Had a bit of time before my flight, realized I was getting too high, so I decided again, responsible thing. Let's fill that stomach up, get nice and happy, get on that flight, and we'll be good. So I went into, I think it was like an Applebee's or some shit like that, right? Go in there, I really felt like French fries, so I'm like, I'll just have large fries. I got that, and, had my large fries. I was hungry again. I'll have large fries again. I did that a few more times. I spent $50 in French fries. I ordered 5 things of large French fries, like some sort of obese asshole. I don't know how the waitress even took me seriously. Like, what are you doing with your life that you're sitting in an airport getting 5 servings of French fries? And that's it, like French fries and water. I'm surprised they didn't arrest me for being an idiot. But like, I spent $50 in French fries at the Seattle airport. Then I got on my plane. I was nice and happy because I had $50 worth of French fries. A little full. I'm not someone who usually eats that much. Like, usually one thing of large fries, like, that's more than enough for me. But in this case, it was not. Nothing else. No other sides. No burger. Nothing like that. Just French fries. And me being high and thinking I was playing it cool, I'm like, yeah, this is the move. Sit in a nice Applebee's, nice dark corner, order a lot of French fries. You're just chilling here like any old guy taking a flight. No big deal. Yeah. But I suppose if you're smuggling drugs, the go-to operation is not to go to Applebee's and order a shit ton of French fries. Yeah, that was. I mean, I didn't mind the build. Great French fries, obviously. But yeah, that was interesting. And yeah, we'll wrap it up there. We talked about Rust. We talked about some random serial overdrive stories and everything like that. I don't know if you like the format. It runs long. You're probably watching this or listening to this probably while you're playing a game or doing whatever. But if you like it, let me know. If a few people like it, I'll probably keep doing this every now and then. If it's somehow a massive success, obviously I'm gonna do it more. But if it's not, I do like these little talks. I like being able to sit down, and if you get any questions or anything like that, maybe just drop them down below. Depending on how many questions I get, either I'll try and answer them in the next video or something like that. Not next coming video, but next one of these like Shit Talk Saturday videos. And we'll go from there. So yeah, hopefully you liked it. There's no editing on this. And the video you've been watching is literally just bullshit gameplay. I don't know exactly what it is, but I just pulled it from a file. Like the way my gameplay works is I've got a 2 terabyte external SSD. Record all my Xbox gameplay onto that for console version Rust. And then when I need footage, I can just pull it from there. Some of the footage that's really good is marked, so I know to just use that for, videos I want to edit a little bit more. This is just going to be some bullshit like farming or whatever footage. Maybe I missed a few shots and you can see just how bad my aim is. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, comments, like I said, leave them down below. I might not answer them, but I'm going to try and go to the next video, go through the comments, answer all that, and then do more of this, just talking bullshit and getting into it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.